Hi, lovely people. How are you all doing? Welcome to Same Diary. And here on my channel, I open the vault to share real life experiences, interesting stories that resonate with the soul. If you love stories like this, then let's be friends. Without wasting much time, let's dive right into today's story. My name is Prince. I'm speaking today because I am drowning in my own success. They say traveling and bringing back wealth brings peace, but for me, it brought a storm. 12 years ago, in a small village in Ghana, my wife Ella and I lived in a leaky room. I was a laborer, and sometimes I earned nothing. It was a bitter pill to swallow when I couldn't feed my children. You know how this feels. Sometimes I stay awake all night thinking. I remember the night Ella would quietly slip out of the house, walking 3 miles to her mother's village to beg for maize or few cedis. She did it to keep our children from crying themselves to sleep. I felt like a failure. I promised her then, Ella, if God smiles on me, I'll give you the world. In 2016, a miracle happened. I secured a visa and a job opportunity in Europe. It was the hardest goodbye of my life. For 5 years, I worked 3 jobs, shoveling snow, cleaning floors, and living on bread and water so I could send every penny home. Finally, I was able to bring Ella and our 2 children over. We were finally together, living the life we once only dreamed of. While we were abroad, I started 2 projects back home. I built a massive 6-bedroom modern house in my wife's village. I told her, this is for you. It's your pride. Since we are abroad, I told her her mother and her brothers could live there so the house wouldn't sit empty. Her mother moved from the mud shack into the new house. I also built a modest 4-bedroom house for my own mother in my village. My mother is a widow who sold her only land to help me pay for my travel documents years ago. I owed her that roof. I thought I had done well. I thought I was a hero. 3 months ago, my wife found out about my mother's house. I didn't hide it from her though. The drama started that night. She didn't scream. She just went cold. Prince, she said, why did you build your mother a house? Are you for real, Ella? She's my mother, I replied, and she deserves it. And what about my mother? She snapped. She fed us when we had nothing. She was there for us. If that's the case, then you must build her a house in her name, or there will be no peace in this house. I was so shocked. I explained, Ella, the big house in your village, the one your mother lives in now, is technically yours, but she's the one enjoying it. I built it there specifically so she would be comfortable, but my wife refused to listen. She insisted the house belonged to us, not her mother. She wanted a separate deed and a separate house just for her mother, matching what I did for mine. 6 months, my wife transformed into a stranger. She moved her things to the guest room. She refused to touch or look at me. When I tried to talk to her, she told me to go and ask the house I built for my mother to give me company. I tried everything, calling elders, explaining I couldn't afford a 3rd mansion now. I'm still paying off debts from the first 2, but she had locked her heart. 6 months of silence, 6 months on a cold bed. I had built houses for everyone else, but now had none of my own. Confused, hurt and resentful, I started to resent the woman I had worked so hard to bring here to come join me. My question is, was she right to demand a second house for her mother, or she was just letting greed destroy what we built? The silence in the house had become unbearable. I realized I needed to act quickly or my marriage would divorce. Without telling my wife, I bought 2 plane tickets for both mothers to meet back in Africa. I arranged a meeting at the village mansion, the big house I had built in my wife's village. The atmosphere was heavy. My mother, Mama Gifty, arrived in a simple cloth, looking humble yet proud. My mother's wife, Mama Rose, was already seated on the leather sofa in the mansion, wearing expensive jewelry my wife had sent to her. It was time for the family meeting on a video call. Beside me was Ella, my wife. She crossed her arms, her face looking weird. Mothers, I began, my voice trembling. I've built houses for both of you, but in this house where you sit, Mama Rose, my wife says it's not enough. She's been closed off to me for 6 months because I gave my own mother a roof. Please help me resolve this issue. Mama Rose, she spoke first, her voice loud and sharp. Prince, you are a good man, but my daughter is right. This big house belongs to you and my daughter. If you return to Africa, I'm just a guest here. My sister's children live here too. I want a small place with my name on it. A place where no one can kick me out. Ella nodded aggressively. You see, I told you, she has no security. Then, Mama Gifty, my mother, stood up. She walked over to Mama Rose and took her hands. The room fell silent. Sister, Mama Gifty said softly, do you remember 10 years ago when your daughter came to my house crying there was no charcoal to cook the maize you gave her? I had nothing then and you had little, but we were happy and lived as sisters. Mama Rose looked down, her face softening. Mama Gifty continued, her voice growing stronger. My son built this palace in your village. He chose your soul over his own. He put you in the house with the tiles and running water while I lived in a shack until last year. Now, because he gave me a small 4-bedroom, you want to break his marriage? She turned to the camera, looking directly at Ella. Ella, my daughter, you are pushing a man for being grateful? If he can abandon his mother, don't you think he might abandon you someday? A man who honors his mother will honor his wife. Don't you think so? You are teaching him that no matter how much he gives, it will never be enough. You are turning his blessing into a curse. The drama intensified when Mama Gifty did something unexpected. She pulled out a set of keys from her pocket and threw them on the table. If this small house my son built for me is the reason why all this is happening, then take it. Let the builders rename it in your name. I will return to my old shack. I would rather live in the mud than see my son's heart shatter. The silence that followed was deafening. Mama Rose gazed at the keys, then at the luxury surrounding her. She saw the shame on her daughter's face. Ella began to cry, not out of anger, but out of realization. She saw the greed that had crept into her heart. Mama Rose pushed the keys back towards Mama Gifty. No, she whispered, I've been ungrateful. My daughter have been blind too, not realizing such a wonderful man her husband is. Prince has done more for me than my own sons. He has really been good to me and my daughter Ella. My greed led me to all this. I'm very sorry. That night, for the first time in 6 months, my wife walked back into our bedroom. At first, no words were spoken, only tears. The wall of silence had finally crumbled through the wisdom of 2 mothers. Everything was settled and my wife and I are living together peacefully now. A man's duty is to provide, but a wife's duty is to protect the peace of the home. Words can build a house, but only gratitude can build a home. I often reflect on those 6 months of silence. I advise my friends, sometimes it's not all about money. Love, peace, and understanding really matters. Show her your heart. And to the wives, never use the bedroom as a battlefield, or you might find yourself winning the war but losing your home. For me, I loved my wife enough to recognize that she wasn't always this way. Marriage, inevitable, brings challenges, but as a man, you have to possess the maturity to navigate those storms with perspective. Wow, interesting. What do you think about this story? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss out anytime I post interesting stories like this right here on Sem Diary. Also check out my other video, Adina the prostitute who never slept with a man. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.